Hello, I am JC Paz, and in this video, we are going to review how to install MySQL Server in a computer with Oracle Linux as the operating system. On the screen you can find the site where you can find the software to do the installation and the commands that you need to run to succeed with it. I am going to log into Oracle Linux in a virtual machine. Provide my password. Then I am going to open a terminal. And I am going to change from my home directory to Documents. Staying in this directory, I am going to get from the repository the installation file. It takes just a few minutes to download. When it finishes to download, local install with sudo privileges MySQL8 community release. When it finishes installing, check the list of MySQL files from the repository. We must have connectors, the tools, and the server. From these three, install the community server. The installation software will install several packages and will ask you to download some others. Answer yes. At this moment, the download and installation begins, and after some minutes the installation concludes. We can check the MySQL status. It is inactive. So, we need to start it. And check again the status. Now it is active. The activation provides a temporary password that we need to search for inside a file. After we have the temporary password, we need to perform a secure installation using a special tool. The first thing is to provide the root password that we got from a previous step. Next, we need to answer if we want to remove an existing anonymous user. Now comes the option to disallow root to login remotely. Another question is whether we want to remove a test database from the server. And finally, it will ask if we want to reload the privilege tables to update the installation choices at this point. Answer yes. Loading root for the first time. Provide its password. Create at least one user. This is the way to create user student. Do not forget, flush privileges. Before we go, let us give a command to the new MySQL server. Show databases. And this is the response. I am going to stop here this lecture. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and give a like. In this way, I can continue uploading more videos like this. See you in the next tutorial.